Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
US TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
The wise old owl says we all need guidance in our life. So remember, get guided with Guide Us TV.
And we're coming to you almost live, not from our studios here in Southern California, but actually a home here in San Bernardino where they're hosting me tonight, mashallah. And they just brought me a cap and told me, get this cap on your head, boy. The more you cover up your head, the better. Alhamdulillah. We got some guests with us tonight because this is Doctor's Night, mashallah. And to help us with our programming, I want to bring out, first of all, here's Dr. Sultan. Salam alaikum, Dr. Sultan.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Okay, I'm going to increase the volume. That was another mistake I had. All right. So how are things there in St. Louis, Missouri, Doctor?
MashaAllah, doing well. Now we are tasting a little winter, and the temperature got a little low over the weekend, got better today. So it shows a change of seasons. So always the 4 seasons come one after the other. So after spring we had fall. Now it's a little colder air, but it's going to be warmer again tomorrow and the after tomorrow. So we can't complain about the weather. Let me see what I can complain about.
You know what they say, though, about complaining? They said there's no sense to complain because nobody wants to listen anyway. MashaAllah. Thank you, Doctor. All right. And now let's hear from our other doctor all the way from Florida. Let's see if I can make that work. Yeah. There we go. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Adil.
Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Gorgeous sunshine, gorgeous weather in Florida. It's like for so long, never had this beautiful. For so long, people are just like really sunshine, no heat, no humidity, no rain, because it's been raining constantly for almost a month. And people are just get tired of this. And so it was a real nice day for a change.
Wonderful.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are having your seasons. And it means also that you're not as much concerned about all of the pandemic as we were a year and a half ago at the big concerns and the big worries. But it seems like, I know that it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems like you guys feel like you've got some kind of control over it. Is that true?
I don't think there's a control. I hope the people, we start really getting into more compliance and less arguments, about basic things, the mask, the social distancing, and all that. Some people just give up, just like they, we keep saying it over and over. But the vaccination now question is becoming a critical question when anybody shows up in the ER, in the emergency room, because as more data suggests that those who get to ICU and put on a ventilator and have complications are mostly the unvaccinated in 90% of cases. There is now starting the booster or the third dose for those who are more than 65 years of age and those with chronic disease or weakened immune system for whatever reason, post-transplant, HIV, cancer therapy, connective tissue disease on immunocompromised therapy, mostly the steroid therapy. And now there's also data about the mRNA vaccine being relatively safe in the younger population. Now kids 5 to 11 years, there's start data, more coming, encouraging data. So now this is obviously affecting school and the kids and the teachers. So I hope now that more people will be really getting ready for the winter now that we have the regular flu and the COVID and other viruses that thrive in the winter with the cold weather. And I hope people will start really paying attention to strengthening their immune system, staying away from toxins, and really be ahead rather than wait for something bad to happen. And then, it's very difficult to get jump started from that point again.
All right. Well, it's my mentioning of being in control. I think I was referring also not just to the doctors, but the people. By doing their part, they're making efforts to control the damages that this. Otherwise, if people didn't mask and they didn't do social distancing and they didn't get the vaccines, as they have done, and alhamdulillah for that, can you imagine what kind of condition we would be in today?
Well, we could do a lot better. I know that this is probably a past tense history. A year ago, around this time, we were discussing just simple masking will decrease the fatality or the death rate by 50%. Just a simple measure, like we're talking about, close to 300,000 Americans. And if somebody start counting, this is like almost, more than 3,000 a day that could be saved. We're not talking about one life, but we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of life that could be prevented. Death could be prevented for sure by taking those precautions early and obviously improving the immune system early. That could reduce that number significantly down.
Oh, okay. Now, again, though, I'm saying that the people, most of the people, a majority of the people, have really made some efforts, got the vaccines, wore the masks, kept the social distancing, avoided the big parties and gatherings. A lot of the stuff that people, I think, have sacrificed. And I don't know, maybe it's not time to be patting ourselves on the back a little bit, but I want to give everybody the essence of it's worth it. What you've been doing is worth it. Let's do more. What do you think?
Yep, you're 100% right. Because if we had enough, we would have incidents would be no more than regular flu and no more complications than regular flu. So yes, we have not done enough. There has been a political fight between we should or we should not. And it is more on party lines rather than on scientific line. That disappoints me, that in this country of education, in country which highly educated people, that what level of thinking we have come. We have come to politics and instead of science. And I'm 100% sure that would have been much better off. Although, as you said, that what if we didn't do mask and social distancing, so on and so forth, and vaccination, what would have been? Obviously, it would have been tremendously worse. But still, we are not out of the woods. Still, there are a lot of deaths happening, a lot of complications. Hospitals are full of those people who are requiring ventilation and intensive care. So by no means we are out of this way. So most important thing is that it has to be a cohesive effort on part of the community, all communities, and as well as the government, both the Democratic and Republican parties. They should come to a common theme, common platform from which help people understand and take the myths out so that we don't become victims of myth, which is really is dividing the whole country. And division of the whole country is one issue. On the other hand, jeopardizing the lives of millions of people just because of political gains, I don't think that that is really ethical and moral. As in Islam said that you save one life, you save the whole humanity. You kill one, you kill the whole humanity. So we have to really recognize our actions, what we are doing, and what impact it is having on overall health and well-being and life and death, life and death situations for masses, not just one or two people, for masses. So that's my take on that.
And I'll add to Dr. Sultan beautifully said statements. When somebody gets really into the ICU, get intubated, I can tell you this with certainty. It's a very, very disheartening situation where all those people on the ventilators, they're very on a high level of oxygen. They're pushing the oxygen into the lung tissue. Some of them, they end up having what's called subcutaneous emphysema. They blow up their face and they have air, and then they chest it down, what's called chest tube, because they have to expand the lung. And it's so sad. We go to see one organ fails after the other, and ultimately everybody's just okay. You only can do so much when you go into lung failure, kidney failure, brain has no oxygen, there's brain anoxia, and so on. And, more than 90% don't come out. So if we start first with the prevention in the first place, so that people don't get sick to that point, that they enter the hospital, that they go to the ICU, that they get on a ventilator, and their possibility of not making it is extremely high. So what are we doing? It's a bad cycle. It's been going on for too long. And I believe that, a coherent, community-based and national-based strategy that, from all children, all the adults, all the senior, everybody has to comply and has to really feel and be responsible not only for themselves and their family, but for neighbor, for the friend, for the, community members, for those who are, happen to be next door or traveling or whatever, because this stuff is not going away for a long time. That's, with all the variants and keep thinking and this and that. And here we are again, we're about to enter into a second, everybody say a second dark winter. As Muslims, as believers, we believe God is in control, but God asked us to do our best and to take full measures of what is that we know that works and works well, and we have solid data on that. Now, we're being distracted for whatever, the distraction is, re-election, this and that. It is so sad to see all this because medicine should not be politicized and pandemic should not be politicized, and it should be the focus of all people of the United States of America as the leader of the world that people look up to give the example that everybody else should follow. And that really should be the, our effort, at least to promote what is good. And then if you, at any point in time during the show, Surah Al-Araf 156, it shook me. I read it with my kids after Salat al-Maghrib, Surah Al-A'raf 156, on the importance and the beauty and the responsibility that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had brought to all mankind.
We're
Yeah.
still suffering from a problem with we don't have anybody working on our websites anymore, and it's not coming up. It'll only give me what it wants to give me, and
I can tell you, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ
yes.
إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ جَمِيعًا. All people, all mankind, that's the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, I'm sent to you as a messenger of Allah to all mankind. الَّذِي لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To Allah belongs the dominion of heavens and earth. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ. There is no God but Allah. يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. He's the one who gives life, and He is the one who takes life. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. So, for everyone to really believe in Allah and His Messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Prophet that was sent to all mankind, every human being on this earth, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent it, because and Nabi Ummi, that he could not neither read or write. But because of in spite of that, he had the most eloquent message, the Quran, for the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he disseminated to humanity.
MashaAllah. What did you say the number was? It's coming up.
158, Surah Al-An'am. Al-A'raf, I'm sorry, Al-A'raf. Al-A'raf is 7.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just trying to make it come up. It's not. It's just giving me a white screen.
No problem. 158. Okay, but you got the idea.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
We have an awesome responsibility, the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to enjoin what's right, forbid what's wrong, and to get this out to all humanity, just like our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. So it's very, very important to tell the truth and to spread the truth and to encourage truth and to promote it for the goodness of all mankind, regardless of any other distraction.
Yeah, see, another interesting thing about this people not vaccinating, what is really happening? Yes, we know that a lot of people are hospitalized and a lot of resources being used. But there is another interesting thing, that even those people who are vaccinated, they can get COVID, but it's much milder. Now, the standard treatment for in the early stages of COVID is giving them monoclonal antibodies. One couple that I know, good friend of ours, for one and the other, I won't go into those details why they could not get the vaccination. So they got COVID. So I ordered monoclonal antibodies for them. I realized that there's a national shortage of monoclonal antibodies because those people who don't have a vaccination, they get it, they are high incidence, and the first thing they want to do is they want to get the monoclonal antibodies. So as a result, we are having deficiency. And same way, those people who are occupying the hospitals who did not get the vaccination, they are utilizing a heck lot more medical resources and less left over for those people who went by the rule, they followed everything, got the vaccination, and now got COVID. Now they're having a problem in getting into the hospital or getting that level of care if they become that sick. So I just want to give an idea that those people who have not vaccinated, they owe a responsibility to the society, and that's what we should. I appeal to them that please look into, find your reasons. There are more reasons why you should have the vaccine rather than not have the vaccine, and just do the right thing, which is good for you, your family, and society at large.
Yeah, I think that's a very important consideration for all of us to take the responsibility to consider this, that even though you have this and this and so on, and you heard stories and you saw things and videos on YouTube and people put it up. The reality is that people are dying and loved ones are passing away simply because we are not taking advantage of something that's right straight in front of us. And put aside these theories because they are nothing more than conspiracy theories, because anybody would like to talk with us about this, feel free to pick up your phone and call. But you're going to be talking to people that are experts in the area of this, and they are going to really demonstrate, and especially some of these idiotic ideas that people have, that, something about spacemen are integrating with us and they're trying to, this is nonsense. And I'm sorry, but the people that claim the earth is flat, and you look at this, and these are the same people that are coming up with these kinds of things. Please, brothers, sisters, if you would like to call us, educate us. If you think we are done on the right way, then obviously we want to know. So call us, talk to us about what you got there, and let's see if it really holds merit or if there is something better. Okay? Because Muslims...
1-800, yes, sir. 1-800-971-4383 for all listeners and viewers around the world. 1-800-971-4383. Any COVID or non-COVID related medical questions, we'll be happy to help in each and every way, both Dr. Sultan and myself.
Yeah, we love to hear from you. If you have not been vaccinated, we'd like to hear from you why you did not get vaccinated. What's your question? What's your concern? What is your hesitation? Please feel free to give us a call at this number, 800-971-4383. 800-971-4383.
MashaAllah.
Now switching to something that a lot of people now are going through, and this is mental adversity, which could be part of COVID, social isolation, depression, and anxiety, and so on. So I'm going to share just one, came across the beautiful hadith. This is the saying of the Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, seal the prophets. This is on one Sahabi's called Abu Darda. And it said, Awsani Khalili, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that's his friend. He basically of Abu Darda. He said, give me advice. Number one, and la tushrik billahi shay'an. Do not make partners with Allah. Have a strong faith in Allah, in the Creator. Do not share any partners with Allah. Not in any way, shape, or form, money or job or fame or anything else. Even وَإِن قُطَّعْتَ وَحَرَّقْتَ, even if you are cut apart, even if you're burned. وَلَا تَتْرُكْ صَلَاةً مَكْتُوبًا, do not leave a mandatory prayer, the 5 daily prayers, مُتَعَمِّدًا, on purpose, not because of travel or illness or other situations, sleep or being hospitalized or being sometime under sedation. So if you don't have an excuse, do not leave a mandatory prayer. Why? فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا مُتَعَمِّدًا, anybody who leaves the prayer on purpose, فَقَدْ بَرِئَتْ مِنْهُ الذِّمَّةِ, this person will be leaving the fold of Islam. وَلَا تَشْرَبَ الْخَمْرِ, do not drink alcohol. فَإِنَّهَا مُفْتَاحَ كُلِّ شَرٍ, because it is the key for each evil, every types of evil. So very, very important advices that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And if we can do it now, because unfortunately some people going through mental problem, atheism, this questioning God's, why is this happening to me, why my family dying, why COVID, and so on and so forth. But if we put things in perspective and really, really, really stay connected with Allah through His book and the prayer, and the 5 mandatory prayer, the minimum, and stay away from intoxication of like alcohol and others, because these are the things that will open every door of evil. So I hope, this could be shared with everyone who's going through tough time with the pandemic, mental problem, an anxiety problem. And just remember that there is a shifa, there's a cure in the Quran. Just when reading the Quran, listening to the Quran, it'll calm you down, it'll soothe your heart, it'll bring you peace and tranquility. It will calm down your elevated blood pressure and elevated heart rate. And this is well documented. And if you don't believe me, you could try it. So take this as a part of your therapy. When you wake up 2 o'clock in the morning and anxious and so on, just remember, just make a prayer to God and read his book and spend time talking one-on-one with the Creator. That will help you a lot to get you back on track and to protect you from, all this, anxiety and stress.
I think that's a very good piece of advice from our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and a very good reminder from you as well, that many times over the years that I've been Muslim, the young people will come up to me, and I never heard this until I was a Muslim. I never heard anybody come up to me and say, I'd like your advice. You're my senior, you're the elder, and we'd like to hear from you. Mostly the young people are too interested in their sports or their activities and what's going on and so on. So, yeah. We have somebody calling in right about now, so let's take this phone call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
MashaAllah.
Richard from Michigan.
Richard from Michigan.
Assalamu alaikum, Richard.
Assalamu alaikum, Richard.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to. Well, I don't have. I've been vaccinated plus a booster. And,
Okay.
And a flu shot. So I've got all we can get here anyway. But I just wanted to share testimony. What our good doctors were saying in times of pressure and discontentment and anxiety is to open the Quran and to begin to read. And I can testify, we've had a rough year. We've had a lot of things going on, but that and getting down on my knees and putting my face to the floor and worship of Allah, that'll bring contentment and find peace and rest. I'm minded of the passage in it's number 1328, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. And
So, right.
that will
Yes.
indeed happen.
Yes.
على بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب.
And that is so true. And you got to stick to it. It's not like you pick up the Quran and read one verse or two, but you sit down and you commit some time, and the more you read, the more your heart gets at peace. It's just like sometimes in the beginning of the Salah, the first time through the first rakah it's almost sometimes to me getting my mind together. And I'm still kind of anxious and agitated about something if possible. But about the second and third time through things, all of a sudden the peace is there, the tranquility is there, and it's a knowledge that you've committed it to the Creator of all things. It just brings great peace and rest into your heart. And for anybody who's listening, what our brothers are saying is absolutely 100% true. It's the word of God. It's the word of the Lord coming to us, and that word brings peace. It brings comfort and brings encouragement and direction for our lives, the likes of which other holy texts just don't do. And I was also sharing too. There's something that's going around. It is kind of unique in the anti-vaxxer world. Is a lot of the conservative radio hosts all across America who've been anti-vaxxers for a long, long time. There's one guy from Daytona, Florida. His name was Mark, and he dubbed himself Mr. Anti-Vax. I said, I'm not taking it, and on and on and on. Well, he got it, and he's passed away. You know, another guy from Newsmax, and the same thing. You know, you can scream and yell at the virus, but he doesn't pay any attention to you. And this guy called it the scamdemic. This guy on Newsmax, he said it's a scamdemic. And they call him masked face diapers. And sure enough, it wasn't long, and he got COVID, and he's gone as well. And if you'll look on, now you can Google up any number of lists like that, and there are just scores and scores of people who kind of, you know, for the sake of who knows what, would stick their hand up and to go, I'm not taking the vaccine, I'm going to be strong, or even some, you know, kind of on a religious basis that, you know, God's going to protect me supernaturally, and I don't need this government stuff, and it's all a hoax. And excuse me, and these people they're falling like flies because the vaccine doesn't respond to your disbelief. You can disbelieve in the virus. I think I said that right. The virus doesn't respond to your disbelief. You know, you can stick your hand up and go, I'm not getting it, I'm strong, and I'm going to get it, and it's all mess, and it's a government thing, but it'll get you anyway. It doesn't care. It's you know, it's like the man who raised his fist and says there is no God. That doesn't change the situation, that there is a God who's the creator, and it will be a day of reckoning. You know, we can shake our fist, you know, at the creator, or we can shake our fist at the virus, and it's like we're nothing. We can't. We're powerless to stand against something that has killed. I lost track. 7 million, I don't know how many millions of people all around the world. 700,000 or so here in the United States. You can logic yourself. You can believe all your friends on Facebook, or you can go to Guidance TV on Monday to Tuesday nights and talk to our two wonderful doctors and talk to experts about medicine. Or if you don't like them, go talk to your own doctor. Go talk to someone who's educated in medicine. You know, don't talk to the butcher about, you know, the virus, or don't talk to your neighbor who's, you know, unemployed. I don't know. I don't want to put people down, but talk to the experts. You know, if I have a plumbing problem here in my home, I do not call a roofer. And it just doesn't work. He can stop my roof from leaking, but he can't do it much with my pipes underneath the house. It's like when my car breaks down, you know, I don't call my pharmacist. As good a pharmacist as he is.
Can I add some? Yeah, Richard. By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to give Richard a proper introduction. For those of you who watch us all the time, you already know Richard Kiefer is actually a Baptist minister for the youth ministries for over 40 years. And he came to Islam not based on anything more or less than just finding out from the Bible it doesn't say what the people says it says. And then he found out about the Quran, he read that, and then he understood that this book does what it says, and it makes sense. So Richard is has also the experience of being really heavily tested by Allah, and in many ways, and not the least of which this year alone he's had his own physical problems pop up. So yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Now I would like to say something though. There are people who can do plumbing work and roofing work and work on your cars, and they can also help you with minor dental problems as well. But these people are called a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And this is exactly what we're talking about. You have people that do have a little bit of knowledge of some of the things that they're talking about. But whenever you put it all together, you can find big discrepancies within what they are telling you about and what the actual facts are. So I really suggest, brothers and sisters, and for all of humanity that watching us right now, please consider talking to a real doctor, a medical doctor who has a practice right now, that has people coming to him right now. Not somebody that retired, not somebody that lost their license, not because these folks they might have some knowledge there, but there might be some prejudice as well. Go to your family doctor, the one who can answer your questions, why this is imperative. Not just you should, you must do at least your part. If you're not able to get the vaccine, and I understand that. I have members of my own family that are not able to get the vaccine, and I understand. But they are still masking up, double mask. I don't know what you call it, but it's like they put some cloth over the mask, and they make sure they keep their distance. They're using the hand sanitizer whenever they can, and they're being very, very careful not to go to any kind of outings or anything where there's going to be a lot of other people. So at least do that. Please, brothers and sisters, and all of humanity, consider what we're saying here. Richard, thank you so much for calling. We got to take a break. Richard, I'm going to let you tell people what to do. Go ahead, tell them what to do.
Well, stay tuned. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back, so stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Stay guided with Guide Us TV. Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
All right, we are back. That was a real quickie, wasn't it, guys? I didn't want to waste any time with what we're doing right now. And let's, I don't want to waste any time at all. We've got super doctors with us. Right now we've got Dr. Adel, and he is in Tampa, Florida. Doctor, if you will, let's get you right back on track. You've been talking about this thing. Kick it off.
Thank you. We're going to go with five things, 5 treatment strategy, free prescription for everyone.
Hold up your hand again. I thought I saw some writing.
So we'll start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There you
Number
go.
1. So if anybody is in distress, anybody in an anxiety, anybody who feels like overwhelmed with what's happening, do the following. Number one therapy, free therapy, reading Quran, online. Take up, now you can download it from the Apple Store on your mobile phone. So if you don't have a copy, you could just do it. Everybody has a cell phone these days, and it has translations, and it has also, it can play and you can listen to it. So you will get to know what God is saying right then and there at your fingertip, and will be immediate in so many languages. Obviously, English is, prevalent more than others, but there are so many versions in about 26 languages that I've seen that can be downloadable. on your mobile phone. Very easy, very approachable. Wake up 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm freaking out. So take a deep breath, go and make wudu, and then make the 2 rakas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and start reading His words, the word of the Creator, or listen to it, and then get yourself to be acquainted with it. You will see an 80 to 90% at least reduction on an anxiety level if you're connected with God, either through reading His book, listening to His book, thinking about His book, and all the miracles and all the things, the enormous lesson that's in there. Number 2 will be qira'at, the seerah, the stories of prophets, especially Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all the things that have been related. The Quran has beautiful stories, awesome stories of prophets, and reading it and really living it, it is so beautiful that will calm your heart. So what I'm going through, you know what? This is nothing compared to what previous messengers of God have been through. They all went through hardships thousands times worse than what I'm going through. So that will immediately make people feel at ease. That a life of test and tribulations, and also uplifting and inspiration. Number 3, to do the amal, to do the work. So no lip service. And it is the going out now to take all full measures, to do the proper vaccination, to put the mask on, to social distancing, to improve hand sanitizer, to improve hygienic measures, and to also share with others, because that is the bottom line. Doing, walking the walk, not talking the talk. Number 4, make dua, make prayer to God, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like we say in Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. This is number 4. To guide us, Ya Allah, to the straight path, O God Almighty. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has this beautiful hadith, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh Allah, you're the one who flips the heart. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Affirm my heart on your deen, on your religion, on the Islam. And number 5, to hang out with good people, good company. Dr. Sultan, Sheikh Yusuf, mashallah, good company, good friendship. Only seeking the pleasure of Allah. There is nothing else that out there. Everybody was born in Texas. Someone was born in Alexandria, one born in Karachi. I don't know where you born, Dr. Sultan. But everybody's connected to really seeking the pleasure of God. That's there. Nothing more, nothing less. And the Surah Al-Kahf, wasbir nafsaka, and make yourself attached. مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي, especially with the Fajr crew in the masjid, the people who come early in the darkness, where everybody else is asleep. The Fajr crew and the Isha crew. بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه. That's all what they want. They want to seek the pleasure of Allah. They have beautiful hearts. They have beautiful, attitude, and they are the people of Jannah. Allah, this is the people you should be hanging out with, spending time learning, and also dedicating yourself to the service of God and do good deeds. No other distraction, no other nonsense. If you do those 5 steps, it will make a huge change and a transformation, positive transformation. So a lot of people know, and we talked about it before, said, okay, I'm just going to get a pill. I'm just going to pop, a pill, and then I'll be okay. Well, you know what? Sometimes it's indicated, okay, but a lot of those medications, unfortunately, have serious side effects, could be worse than the disease itself. So if I tell you something free, accessible, 24/7, simple to do, simple to apply, with those 5 steps, it will change everybody's life. And I hope everybody can take advantage of it.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I really appreciated that. Dr. Sultan, we'd like to impose on you just for a few minutes, if you don't mind, to
Absolutely.
give us some updates from your side, if you don't mind. I really appreciate it.
Yes, as we talked about, I'm glad that the booster vaccine has been approved for people over 65 and people with high risk. But honestly, my take on it is that if you had, no matter if you're good health, and if you had vaccination 8 months ago, go ahead and take a booster, even if you're healthy, because it cannot be guaranteed that your immune system is not going to fail because in front of this bad virus. So that's my personal advice to anybody and everybody, that if you have taken both shots, it's been 8 months, go and take the third shot. So that's one. The second thing is that in the pipeline, now there are some drugs being developed which are antiviral, and they seems to be very effective. It's not been approved by FDA, or they're just in the trial studies. So that is another very interesting aspect. One of these drugs, what it does is one of the things it does is
the audio is there right now.
It causes to virus genetics to change so that the duplication is not possible. So that seems to be a very promising drug. There's nothing much information I have yet on that one, but there's something that there'll be another tool, especially those people who are anti-vaccines people. It might be a tool for them to use. So these are some new things, and as Dr. Adil said, that is being approved for kids 8 and 12 or 6 and 12. And the thing is that right now they are a big reservoir of virus because they are not vaccinated at all. So I think adding that group of people to vaccination will be another important factor in fight against coronavirus.
All right. Thank you very much for that input. I wanted to actually hear from both of you about the situation that we're facing right now and what we can do about it. So it looks like number one was what, according to what Dr. Adil was telling us, is the same advice for even a typical day. Start out with the Quran, then look to the Hadith, and then what is your practice? What are you doing? What was number 4, Doctor?
Dua. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make supplication and dua, prayer to Allah to help us, keep us on the straight path. And number 5 is basically to hang out with a good company.
All right. Well, I was trying to mute some of the sound here because we had a lot of phone calls coming in and everything not related. So I'm sorry that I found out just now that when I was muting it, it shut off part of what Dr. Sultan was saying, and I apologize for that. But hopefully he was redundant enough that we got everything out of there. In summary, Dr. Sultan, if you just go touch back a little bit about some of the things that you were saying, I don't want anything to miss out. I don't want anybody to miss anything what you said. It was very valuable. So
okay. First of all, the most important advice was giving. Although FDA has approved vaccine, the third shot after age 65, but my sincere advice is that anyone who had the vaccine about 8 months or so should get the booster. There's no contraindication that why they cannot get the booster. And I think the reason FDA is limiting to age 65 is because of that high risk. And number 2, because of the availability of the vaccine, if they made the general recommendation, then a lot of people will rush, and it is fear that the high-risk people age 65 and above may be left behind. But from my medical point of view, I think people can take the vaccine. So that was point number 1. The point number 2 was that it is encouraging that the vaccine is being approved for smaller children, because right now, one of the major reservoir of virus is these children. So adding another layer of protection, vaccinating these kids, will make it even less likely. It will be overall protective. And number three, there's something very promising. There are at least 3 drugs, antiviral drugs, in the pipeline, which seem to be effective against COVID infection. And one of them has a very interesting mode of action. What it does is it changes the genetic expression of the virus genes. So therefore, the genes cannot get replicated. So the virus doesn't get replicated. They're still in the pipeline. It has not been approved as yet. It is not even, I think, in line with FDA. Even the findings are not been presented to FDA. But that's all I know about this medication. And I think adding this third layer of above and beyond vaccination, antiviral medications, that will be a big help in fighting coronavirus.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for taking the time to reassure us about that. And finally, we are running out of time, so I would like to come back to Dr. Adil. And Dr. Adil, by the way, I have pictures of you guys now so that I can put up these pictures right before you come on, and that's nice too. So, mashallah. Let's go ahead, Doctor.
Okay. One important thing that I wanted to share today as well. This is a non-COVID, but it's related to what I've been talking all about. It's all about your nutrition. It's all about the way you eat. It's you are what you eat. So if you eat good food, healthy food, your health will be good, your immune system will be strong, and you will have energy. You will be able to basically spare yourself from chronic diseases and illnesses. And this actually came, about to warn young people, guys, that, what you eat early in life could affect especially the high cholesterol with fast food, burgers and such that's full laden with, high lipid, because the plaque or the hardening of the artery is built over the years as a result of the, sad diet. Dr. Sultan's favorite.
The standard American diet.
So people, young people all going out for, all the fast food and have burgers. It's, you see all the dripping, fat and all that. Well, you know what? They have probably very high elevated levels of cholesterol and triglycerides, which is another bad fat that will also clog up the arteries, and then they will see it later in life and will affect them by early manifestations of hardening of the arteries, and that could unfortunately happen from head to toe. So to say, hey, you're young, you're okay, and so on, you can eat all the bad things and fatty food and all that stuff, and you're going to be okay. But on the other side, these things will lead to progressive building of plaques and hardening of the arteries and elevation of blood pressure and all that. And then bingo, in the 40s, then the body said, start to kind of, break down and, will cannot take this anymore. And then people will have manifest disease, with heart disease and strokes and kidney failure and ulcers and so on. So that is, something that's avoidable. Like we saw, what we can do to prevent disease. What can we do to prevent the devastating effects and the high cost? And then people now go to bankruptcy, and that's number one cause actually for going to bankruptcy is unpaid medical bills. So we can help educate people about the importance of nutrition, healthy nutrition, stay away from bad habits, stay away from alcohol, like Rasulullah SAW said 1,500 years ago. and really apply that in life, and you'll see what difference could be, and not just only in the numbers when you do a blood test and see the doc, hey, I got my 100 numbers down in my cholesterol, but unless and until we change the way we do things, rather than say, doc, I'm just going to go up and up and up on the cholesterol medicine. Well, if I don't really tell the people to stop smoking, eat low-fat diet, exercise, and have more fresh foods and vegetables, and control triglycerides and so on, and maybe other risk factors, then what are we doing? We're just chasing our tail, and that is wrong. So go to the main cause, address it. That will be the best investment in long-term outcome.
Yeah, you see, just like those anti-vaxxers, to me, it looks like that you're anti-drug. You want to cause damage to the biggest industry in this country if people follow your advice.
If you look at the commercials over the past year with the pandemic, with the psychotropic drugs, the manic depressive, the schizophrenia, the all that. I mean, most of them, they tell you they're going to depress the immune system. They're going to increase incidence of suicide. They're going to increase the risk of, of all these potential side effects. Could be worse than the medicine itself and extremely expensive. So I don't know, what are we doing? We're actually held to increase death among people who have, the early dementia and all that. It is, number one principle of medicine, do no harm. So if there's something harming people, do not take it. But people, unfortunately, under influence, whatever, advertisement, power, whatever it is, that they get it and they pay for it and they get harmed for, because of taking it. It's crazy. And it has to be, I believe it will only stop in the buck with the consumer. And if we educate the consumer, if we show care to the consumer, who could be mom or dad or the next door neighbor or anyone in the community or any human being for that matter, that will be our message that we're trying to educate and advocate on the behalf of all viewers and listeners and on all mankind.
Yeah, see, 250,000, and this is a sobering statistics. 250,000 people each year die from proper use of medication. Not improper, but the proper use of medication. And millions are injured or, and many of them irreversibly damaged. So this is my advice to my patients, that what do you do? Let's say you go to the doctor prescribes some medication for blood pressure, say for your sinuses, or say for depression. What should you say? Yes, doc, salute the doc and say, okay, here we are. No, you should ask the physician, is there a better way of treating the problem? Is there a better way that you can find the cause of my illness and treat it instead of giving me the drugs? The answer for a lot of chronic ailments in our society, headaches, depression, anxiety, arthritis, colitis, and many other chronic illnesses, the answer is astoundingly yes. You can find the cause, you can treat the cause and treat it so that you do not need to be dependent on plus-loading medication, huffers and puffers for your asthma and so many other chronic ailments. So that is our message of wellness, that when you pay attention to environment, nutrition, diet, all your hormonal factors, a lot of these problems will disappear. So that's why I want you to hear from our audience that whatever health problem do you have, please give us a call and we will discuss the issue. For example, if your problem, high blood pressure, is not being under control, we can suggest things. If you're depressed, yes, the Dr. Adil's advice of those 5 points is great. But at the same time, we also need to look for the physical causes which may be causing the problem. So please give us a call now. They're close to end, but remember.
Actually, we don't have any time for any calls because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are within the 1 minute. They're calling us right now, telling us we got to wrap it up. I want to remind everybody to start out with the Quran, number 1, that the doctor was telling us about. And number 2, that we should look to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And number 3, dua, dua, dua. Stay with the dua and stay tuned and stay guided with
Guidance TV.
Oh yeah.
Guidus TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guidus TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guidus TV.
Stay guided with Guidus TV. Guidus TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guidus TV.